This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Djuma Private Game Reserve for another sunrise safari. As you can see, there's a couple of impalas milling about, which is par for the course. My name is Tristan, and on camera I have Panda again this morning. Panda? Yeah. Sleep well? Good. I did. Good. Panda's all good, so hopefully we're set and ready for a good day out in the bush. Now, we've just come up into the northwestern corner of Djuma. We're going to jump onto the Buffelshoek boundary, see if there's any sign of Mariep's coming south from where he was yesterday, which was on east-west cut line inside Buffelshoek. So we're going to try and see if we can find him. I think Cedric is going to be on the tracks for the 4 Kambulas males and the female that were heading past Gari Dam. Sorry, I just heard an impala. I was just making sure it wasn't a rut. But they were heading past Gari Dam. I'm sure they were hunting that herd of buffalo that Cedric had yesterday. There was also a random lioness that we found after drive at Philemon's Dip. A single female, which I'm sure must be an Inkahuma female, and she was moving towards Gari Dam area as well. So lots of lion activity last night, which I think Cedric is going to try decode. We'll check the northern boundary towards Buffelshoek Dam, just make sure they didn't go up that side. And then, well, I'm sure Eric down in Amakala will be looking for various things that can be lurking, from ellies to jackals and all kinds of other stuff. So that's the plans for the morning. Now, remember, we are coming to you live, and so we would love to hear from you guys, and you can do so using the website, as well as the YouTube chat stream, as well as #WildEarth on Twitter or X. There's an impala rutting. When they make this rutting sound, it's always good just to sit and listen for a little bit, because when they rut at this time of the day, they attract a lot of attention to themselves, and it's chilly this morning, so I'm pretty sure there will be some movement of the cats, and this is basically like a big dinner bell being rung when these males chase each other like this and grunt and groan. The predators know that they're very distracted. Captain Will Burkett, I think I got that right. You're saying good afternoon from the island of Hawaii. Oh, I can imagine it would be a lot warmer on the island of Hawaii than it is right now. Down here in Djuma, it is cold here this morning. We've got no cloud cover, so it's definitely winter is starting. They just mate, and I wasn't watching, I was looking at the sunrise. But yeah, lots of mating activity going on with impalas at the moment, so we'll see a lot of that happening. All right, let's carry on. Let's go and see what we can find. It's obviously a bit of a long shot that Mariep's is on our side, but it's worth just checking. It wasn't that far that he was from the boundary, but it's you know, if his movement was eastwards, then we would have, I mean, he can walk for a long way before he comes onto Djuma itself. But I just want to double check and make sure, so I think we'll just take Vuatela access, get to the gate, and then we'll just boundary all the way to Cheetah Cut Line, just to check. Zotis, you say you have a feeling we're going to see Klalamba today. Well, that would be lovely. I would thoroughly enjoy seeing her. It's been pretty abysmal from a leopard perspective. We've been struggling to find any signs of, or fresh signs of leopard. I think that's been the hardest part, is we haven't actually even had tracks that have been worth following. Everything's been pretty quiet on that front, so I would love to see her. I know Nsumi was on Torchwood yesterday, so she's kind of full and round, and I don't really know where she'll head from there. It'll be interesting to see. And then Kuchava was tracked into a nets yesterday. Neno was all the way on EP. Shadulu, I don't think was found yesterday. Tortoise Pan, nothing on him either. Last tracks apparently went into Hofmanns, southern side of Hofmanns. So he might be an outside call for somewhere up here. Sometimes comes marching along into this area in order to try and just mark territory as he goes. And then Mulawati, I think his last tracks were on Juma, but as we know with him, tough cat to track down. He just normally bumps into you, and that's kind of how it goes. So let's see what we can find. I mean, hopefully somebody will pop up somewhere. Just quite keen to see if we can't get a decent update on Marips, and then obviously that'll then take us all the way to where Tlalama is. Exactly, and regardless of what we find, it will be a Sunday fun day. I'm sure Cedric will be his usual chirpy self, and we know he gets all bristly and excited when he wants to track something, so he hopefully will be in fine form. And then Eric, it seems as though he also has quite the sense of humour, so I haven't met Eric before, but he always seems like he's got some classic one-liners that come out, so I'm sure there'll be lots of fun to be had today. It always is when you're out in the bush. It's never a bad day out here. It's only good days really when you get to cruise around places like this. But it is definitely a lot colder than it was yesterday. Cedric must be cold because he's gone down towards the Mulawati area in Gari Cutline and those places, and that's the coldest part of Juma. We're right up on the crest in the northwestern corner here, so we'll be alright, but we're going to get a taste of it now. As soon as we get to Tofelshoek boundary and we start going into those dips, we're going to feel the wrath of the cold. But it'll warm up nicely this morning. The sun will come up pretty quick, and then it's going to be nice and warm, and we'll be alright. Everything will be okay. There's no tracks up here though. Any sign of anything moving this way? All the line tracks obviously head down vertical axis, but in a different direction. Across here. Hippos crossing. They'll be going to Baobab Dam. Those hippos, or coming from. Looked like there was a little baby one in there as well. Sky Jiggy, always good to hear from you. And you're here to cheer us on our leopard search, Cedric and I. Well, I think we're going to need it. It's not gone according to plan the last little bit, so all the cheering on we can get will be most helpful. And then, like I say, hopefully a bit of luck goes our way. It happens like this. I mean, sometimes you just have a couple quiet days, and then all of a sudden there's sightings popping up everywhere again. It's just the way the bush is. This colour in the sky on our left is so pretty. I don't know if it'll come out on camera, but there's this sort of pinkish blue hue in the sky at the moment. It is very, very pretty indeed. Anyway, all right, we're going to jump back onto the boundaries, go and see what we can find. In the meantime, though, talking about Cedric, it's time for him to say good morning and tell us how he's going on those tracks.
Thank you so much, Tristan, and yes, a very good morning to everybody. My name is Cedric, and behind the camera with me here on the Sentinel, we've got Muscles Mpo, and he's a teddy bear. As well as joining us this morning, we've got our legendary and beautiful director, Nadine. So yes, I'm looking forward to this morning's drive. Sunday, fun day. So let's see what we can find for this beautiful Sunday morning. I'm trying to follow up on the Kambula males, those 3 male lions and the female. It looked like they came south from Gari Dam towards Twin Dams area, but there's nothing else coming further, so they might have turned a little bit southwest towards Treehouse Dam. I'm going to go take a look there very shortly, but I think let's just stop here at the Twin Dams for the time being, and let's see what is happening around this side. Get my binoculars out. See if anything is lurking around here, maybe under the bush. You never know. But look how beautiful. The water is like a mirror this morning. Not a breath of wind really coming through. So it is quite stunning. Of course, it'll be nice to get some rosettes as well this morning. Maybe I am doing the southern side of Djuma now. Phoenix rising, a very good morning to you. Yes, it's always nice watching the sun slowly but surely come up and all the beautiful sounds around these dams. But it is chilly. Oh my word, I think I took the worst road here on Djuma, the coldest spot. Actually, we're actually sitting on the coldest spot of Djuma. And this is a Twin Dams area with Baboon Pan just south of us. So all that cold air just sinks down into these little valleys, and Twin Dams is quite low. We call it a katabatic air pressure system, where the cold air is heavier than the hot air and just displaces it. Darcy Muller, yes, little bear of Mpho says good morning to you too, and Nadine as well. So yes, Darcy Muller is very happy that. Hi Darcy. There you go. There's the little squeaky voice in the background was Nadine. But yes, thanks Darcy Muller. We'll see what we can find for all of you this morning. I'm sure Nadine will be very, very chuffed to see another leopard. Which one do you want to see, Nadine?
I mean, Nsumi, but who knows? Calicals would be great.
There we go. So Nsumi, that's just a nice one, yeah. Nsumi, I haven't seen Nsumi for a while. I mean, she's hanging around there, that beautiful leopardess inside Torchwood most of the time. And then, of course, Calicals or Tlalamba, or as Nadine says, Kalamba.
It's Kalamba.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another Sunrise Safari. You are here live with us at Amakhala Private Game Reserve, where you're with myself, Eric, and Morgan behind the camera. And this morning we're going to be your eyes and ears on a lovely morning. It's a little bit chilly. You can see there's a little bit of low-lying mist in some areas. But for the most part, it's clear skies. It's going to get a little warm today, I think. My phone says 28. This probably means maybe about 30 degrees Celsius today. Ooh, this is a very bumpy road. No, we had a little bit of rain last night. Not very much. It started drizzling. Maybe it drizzled for about an hour or so. And then rain came after that, but it wasn't a hard rain and it didn't last very long. Just enough maybe to damp the top layer of soil, if that. No decent sized drops. I highly doubt that's made any big changes for the animals this morning. I think most of them are still going to be in the same area. I think they would have maybe just taken a little bit of cover if they wanted to, underneath some bushes. But I did suspect something like this was going to happen when the elephants were in the valley and then coming out the valley on the other side, and we were waiting for them yesterday afternoon. It was quite a lovely time we spent with them. Anna-Marie, we are looking forward to our sunrise safari just as much as you are, and we are just as excited, ready to dive into it, see what we can find today on this lovely Sunday morning. It's been very quiet so far. Lots of tracks, of course. Plenty of tracks on the road, and that's always a good sign, but very quiet on the animal side. I think once it gets a little bit lighter, we will see a little bit more movement of some prey items, maybe. To have a scan. There's a very strong elephant smell here. A very strong elephant smell, but I don't see any elephants. We'll be able to see them. Nancy, good morning. I trust you're doing well and ready for our sunset safari here. Sorry, not sunset, sunrise safari on this beautiful morning. It is a bit chilly. Yesterday was very warm, and the day before that in the morning it was also quite warm. But this one this morning is just a little bit cold. But it'll heat up in no time. I know, obviously, we found some places on the higher ground which were a little warmer than the lower ground temperatures. And that was a bit of a plus. So I'm thinking we're going to be heading down into the basin this morning, and I think once we get to the ridgeline, it may be a little different temperature over there, maybe slightly warmer, although the ridgeline is sort of below us from here as we start to climb up. Melissa, indeed, it's always nice to look at our beautiful sunset, our beautiful sunrise of the sun over the basin, looking the valleys and all the different depths of the reserve. It is astounding to watch, and I'm hoping we're going to see something very similar. I did notice that there were some clouds on the horizon. I don't know if it was clouds or if it was mist, sort of quite close to the horizon. So maybe for the first, 10 minutes of the sunrise, we may not be able to see the sun, or we may see only just a little bit of it. We're going to carry on going down this road. We're going to send you over to the Sabi, to Djuma, where Tristan is also on the move.
Well, Eric, I think that's a great plan. We might have to do the same plan. We're about to descend into a dip, so we're about to get cold ourselves. But we'll employ that plan too when the sun is actually up properly, just now. Right, so no tracks for Marif so far coming over. I was kind of hoping if he did come, he would come from Buffelshoek, sort of Gallagher shortcut area. But there's no sign of anything there, and no tracks around sort of Baobab Dam area. So the next place that he might cross is where we are right now. So this is going on towards Mvubu side, which is kind of where he went north or west. There's a Cedric updating about lion tracks. Sounds like they're heading southwards towards sort of Treehouse Dam side. But yeah, if he was going to cross, he would cross somewhere where we are now. I don't see any sign of these footprints coming out. So if I was a leopard, I don't think I'd be wanting to lie near a waterhole right now. Cold there. Try to be up on a crest somewhere, a bit warmer, curled up in a little ball, especially if I had a full tummy. I suppose though there's lots of hunting opportunities at the moment with these impalas rutting, so a lot of them are quite active chasing those around in the early hours of the morning. Nathan, not really a while. They just go and check it out, and if it's up to standard, then they use it. But it's not like they go for a long period and keep going to the same place to go and scout it out. The female leopards are quite interesting. They often will just use dens that they've used over the years. So they know dens that work really well and that are structured nicely for them, and they return to them. I will be surprised if Columbus cubs get a little bit older if she doesn't use that den site off Nyala Road. Cedric was telling me he had tracks going right up to the hole where they often put those little cubs. So I'm pretty sure she knows where she likes to keep cubs. Obviously the last set she raised to a point that they were quite big already and no longer denned. So she'll know which ones worked for her and places that are safe, and will then use those. And if she has to go to areas where she's not really used before, then she'll do a little bit more scouting. But for now, she'll have a select few dens. And if she finds a little spot that looks even better, then she might start using those. But they don't kind of go and check it out every day just to make sure it's safe. They just kind of find a spot that looks good, and then they try and use it. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, well, they learn from it, I guess. But yeah, I've never seen a leopard kind of going to the same place day in, day out just to check it out before moving cubs. It's always kind of a case of them using dens that they either were put in as cubs or den sites that they've used previously. It's amazing how many hyena tracks you see, but I haven't seen a single hyena since I've been here, like not even a sniff of one, but there's been footprints everywhere.
Discover the wonders of the wild with Safari Snaps, Africam's fun community game. Immerse yourself in the captivating live streams of animals in their natural habitat, and showcase your wildlife expertise by tagging these incredible species with their photos. Simply tag the animal you spot. Each tag earns you points based on the rarity of the species. The rarer, the more points you score. Join us on Safari Snaps and let's celebrate the wonders of African wildlife together.
Alright, so I've just left Treehouse Dam now. Nothing coming over to that area. No buffaloes, no lions, or no tracks. So I'm just going to come back this way. See, well, there's one track going here, but that's for that one female. We bumped actually into a female lion last night, Tristan and myself, and it looked like a young, from one of the Nkuma females, a young female, so I'm not too sure who. And that's the tracks we were tracking yesterday morning here at Philemon's Cut Line, Gary Main Junction, just to the south of us. But yeah, let's quickly just double check here. I just want to see if any other tracks have come this side now. Just got for that one female. I think maybe these Kambulas went straight, went either west or they went east. They did not come south. The same as the buffalo tracks. I agree with Tristan as well. Loads and loads of hyena tracks all over the show, but there's just haven't had any luck with hyenas over the last few days. It would be nice to get to see some of them. What's it? Jason? Oh, Jason, I heard something about live. You say, is Corky still alive? Yeah, I'm sure Corky's still alive. She's been seen now and again, not as often. Oh, thanks, Nadine. So, my information here from behind me, Nadine, saying that Corky was on Dam Cam 2 nights ago. So, yes. So I'm sure she's hanging around, but there's a lot of hyena tracks up and down. So we'll try and follow up. Maybe go try some of these dens again. I think maybe I'll spend a bit of time this week, maybe tomorrow, to go and look at some of the dens just to see if any activities around those. Most of the dens here on Juma. All right, no lion tracks here at all. No, I think they've gone further east, maybe towards the Molawati drainage line, but we'll try and continue following up here. Yeah, Jared at all? Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. All right, so we're coming back onto this big open clearing. This is south of our camp. Happy Brett, I think so, for sure. I think we are very much due for some lion cubs or leopard cubs. Oh yes, I agree with that. But yeah, it'll take time, but when it does happen, it happens, you know, and then we'll just enjoy it at that time. But for now, I think it'll be just nice just to get some cats early on this morning while the sun is coming out now with this beautiful golden light. I just want to see if we can pick up on these alive. And yeah, oh, okay, they came up this side. All right, yeah. All right, looks like they've gone west, so I'm gonna go west then. Let's go take a look. Yeah, all of them walking down here. I'm hoping they haven't crossed, because you know, these lions can travel far and very quickly, and you know, they could be already in the west. All right, well, we're going to quickly try and see if they haven't crossed into Shirley's, I mean into Safari or into Simabili. Let's head over to Eric.
That is not fair. The sun has come up there already. We're still waiting for our sun. It's not even close to the horizon at this point. Well, it's close, but not as close as we wanted to be. But that's fine, that's fine. We've still got a bit of time. And you can see there's a little bit of mist at the top of the screen there. That is the Amakhala Basin. Morgan's just going to wipe the lens a little bit. There's a bit of moisture in the air. I've definitely felt some moisture on my moustache hairs. I don't know what was going on, but it's definitely from the mist. And sometimes if you end up driving through the mist itself, you'll get these little kind of like actual drops of water on your eyelashes. You'll close your eyes very tight and it'll feel like you're crying because all those drops of water have now congregated together and now running down your cheek. Well, obviously now that we're here close to the basin, the roads have changed and this is now slightly 4x4 territory. And there's no problem for the Land Rover Defender. There's quite a bit of mist down here. The doodlebug will definitely be looking around for them while we're in the basin, keeping our ears and eyes open. You never know what you might see. You never know. And no, I'm not exactly too sure where their movements were, but I know that there were active sightings of them yesterday morning. I think it was yesterday morning. I don't know about yesterday afternoon. We spent so much time with those elephants. We forgot all about the other animals on the reserve. Here, we're almost at our little destination. Oh, wait. Good morning, Amakhala. I know his mom, it does look very eerie down there. Looks very ominous. But it also looks cold. I know that mist driving through that is not pleasant, but it's not the worst. It's actually sometimes pretty cool when it's not too thick and you can see, let's say for example, you've got like 100 to 200 meters of visibility. That's quite nice, and it isn't a problem. It's when you can't see 50 meters in front of you. That's when it becomes a little bit of a mission, a bit problematic. It almost looks like a layer that one could walk on or drive on. Like we could just quickly walk across here to the next mountain. We're going to send you back up to Tristan, and he's got the sun coming up there.
Indeed, it is a nice sunny spot. We're just on Buffelshoek Dam wall at the moment and you can see the sun just peeking up over the horizon. It's actually very, very pretty. We would have a glassy surface of water too because there's no wind blowing, but there's some... Sorry, Cedric is disrupting my peaceful moment here. But the water is being disturbed by two hippos that look like they're trying to mate. There's definitely a big male hippo and then there's a smaller female that's there, and I don't know if this is maybe potentially a return of Scuba Steve and Snorkel Sarah, which was, I think it was Buffelshoek Dam that James spoke about them. I think it was there. I can't remember now. But I know there was two hippos that James used to make voices for, which was somewhere here on Juma, and so it was Snorkel Sarah and Scuba Steve. But they are definitely trying to mate. You can see he's mounting her regularly at the moment. So you'll see his kind of head is much more exposed than hers, but every now and then you'll see her nose coming up. And the size difference is quite staggering. And you see the size of his muzzle versus hers. So that cannot be comfortable. That's what mating hippos looks like, everybody. It's not exactly much of a display, given that you can hardly see anything because it's underwater. I'm sure she's happy about it though, because it means that most of his weight is being taken off. She doesn't have to bear the brunt of how heavy he is. It's often what you see with elephants too when they mate, is they sometimes mate in water. It just helps ease things up for the poor female. He's lucky there's no competition in Buffelshoek Dam. Also, they haven't been in this dam at all. I've come past here every morning, and this is the first morning now. Rosemary, you say you love this. It's pretty interesting to watch, and it's so pretty at the dam. What's not coming through that well on camera is that there's a lot of mist coming off of the water, because the temperatures dropped so much during the night, and the water is still warm. We're getting this misty layer that's forming over the top of the water. So for us, we've got this beautiful sort of sunrise with a little bit of mist rolling around. You can just make it out there, and then the two hippos up to a bit of tomfoolery bobbing about the place as well. But otherwise it's very quiet at the dam. It's very peaceful, and it's just nice sitting here absorbing a bit of sunshine. There's some parts of that boundary that were freezing, particularly that Gowrie cutline drainage. It was very, very cold in there. I'm very appreciative of a bit of sun at this stage. Leopard lover, no. That's a simple answer to that. I think it's getting better. The guiding in India is still in its formative stage. A lot of how it works there is you're not dealing with private reserves like what you have here. It's a lot more of national park guiding. And those places, some of the mandates in some of the national parks is that there has to be a driver from the local community. So like in Todoba, if you're not from the community that surrounds Todoba, you can't actually drive a vehicle there. And then most of the parks have a park ranger that joins you. So you have a driver, then a park ranger who's just there to basically make sure you follow rules. And then you can go with a naturalist, which maybe is essentially like what we do is guiding guests around the world. And they will then be a lot more sort of informative and know what's going on. But yeah, India is sort of standard of just guiding that from the guys that drive vehicles and things like that is still low. A lot of those people don't have access to the best education, so their command of the English language is quite limited, which is not to say that they don't know what they're doing and they don't know the system. It's just difficult for them to relay that to the people that they have on their vehicles. So yeah, I mean, it's a very different approach as well. I always find India super interesting because it can get a bit chaotic at times, and the focus on tigers is just so massive. It's almost like a lot of the other animals. Shame, girl, you're struggling to breathe. He's kind of like pinning her underwater at this stage. Most of the other animals are almost overlooked in a lot of ways, which is a shame because India is such an incredible country with such diverse animals and birds, and there's so much to see there. It's not just about tigers. I think a lot of people don't realize A, how big India is, and B, how diverse it is because of where it sits. You know, it's sitting between the Himalayas, China, which has got its own kind of ecosystems, and then down all the way to tropical coastlines that border Sri Lanka. So they've got a lot of beautiful places with very different antelope species and, like I say, bird species. And you can go there and you can see Asian elephant and one-horned rhinos and red pandas and snow leopard and tigers and normal leopard, and I mean there's sloth bears, they've got Indian wild dogs, they've got golden jackals, there's numerous small cats in India as well. So it's such a diverse place. I always just feel like I wish when I go there that there would be a little bit more focus on everything rather than just the tigers. But it's slowly starting to change. Their tourism model and their guiding sort of way and culture and ethic is all sort of slowly getting better. Every time I go, there's definitely an improvement in what's going on. And so that's encouraging to see. And there's a drive to try and make things better. There's certain companies within India, a lot of them who have people that have come out to Africa on safari, and they're trying to replicate the African model there. So there's a lot of places that are doing good things, and their guides are much more like what we would see here in South Africa. But it's not widespread, and it's only in a few camps that actually have the resources and the budget to be able to do the training and get their guides to that level. So there's certain camps that I would recommend, and there's others that I would stay quite clear of. And then if you are ever planning on going to India, is to just be very aware that it's not going to be like this, where you're going to sit at a dam in the Savi Sands and you're going to off-road and you're going to track animals and it's going to be 3 vehicles in a sighting. It's not like that at all. You're on a national park. Road networks are very limited. In India, there's a rule that only a certain percentage of the park can be accessed by tourism, and the rest has to be left for wildlife. And so it is a lot more congested than what we see here, and it's a lot more like what you'd see in the Mara during a migration than it is the Savi Sands experience.
Explore the untamed valleys and thickets with Ralph Kirsten.
Beautiful.
Or venture into the wild with Eric Barnard.
I will take you to my favorite place to show you my favorite animals, share the best stories, and you will definitely be able to watch the stars.
There are only 6 places available on each safari. For more information and to secure your seat, contact Wild Earth Travel.
Sure. We getting that extra closer to the sun coming up and joining us on our sunrise safari. It's getting closer and closer to the horizon, and those clouds are getting thinner and thinner, which is perfect. I think they're actually moving away from us, which would be lovely to have an open horizon for that sun to start poking its head out. Not much movement yet. Haven't kind of picked up a little breeze yet, but I can see there is a little bit of movement with the mist. Nothing substantial. We still definitely need the sun to come and burn the mist off here, and I think it's going to start burning it off round about 9-10. Obviously taking a little bit longer for the surface of the earth to warm up. As if this was in the summertime, by at least 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, it would be burnt off. By that stage, it's very, very warm. Been sitting here listening to a lot of birds. Haven't really heard any other animals calling. Had a lot of crows. There's been a African hoopoe that's been calling in the tree next to us. I'm trying to look for him, but I can't see him. Christy, this is indeed, and it's going to get even better. Just wait till that sun starts poking its head out. Oh my goodness, are we in for something? I cannot wait. I'd say another 20 minutes or so. Sure, plenty of bokmakkeries, and they really are making beautiful calls this morning. There's a lot of other birds that I'm trying to figure out. There's a lot of chatter at the moment. That's good. There's no problem with chatter in the morning like this. It's beautiful, the birds all talking to each other. Okay, there's a karoo scrub robin down below. Slow, I wonder what the Ellies are up to. Now we sort of left them at a very confusing area or sort of time, not too sure exactly where they are heading. Obviously those two bulls, Butti and Nanzi, were just going at each other non-stop, and it actually started to look like it was going to get a bit serious. But they were, where we last saw them was kind of where they were hanging out, and they sort of looked like they wanted to come north. Originally they were heading east along that road, and then they turned off and started heading north. That's how we were able to sort of get in front of them. But I'd be quite interested to see what they got up to and where they are now. I don't think they'll still be up there where the valleys are, basically on top of the back ridge line. They may have even crossed and come down into the basin. We don't know. We'll have to investigate. But sure enough, we will see some signs. You don't go into the basin without anybody knowing about it. No, indeed, lovely, lovely liquid clouds. It almost looks like the top of somebody's espresso. A giant espresso cup here. It's a lot of coffee. Enough to make anybody jump up and down. There's some donuts. Oh, the sun's getting closer and closer. I can see the colors are starting to change. The horizon's becoming a lot more orange. And when the orange glow starts to get brighter and brighter, let me know she's about to grace us with her presence.
lions. Cedric's probably going to follow that one.
At least we know where these buffaloes have gone to. That's a big thing. Went into here, maybe towards this other link road. Well, the thing is, lions, if they want to move at night time, they can move very, very far. Right, let's just take a look quickly down here. Cancel out all these areas. So I almost thought I saw something there. And I like the way Eric's explaining the weather that side. A little bit of a cappuccino there, a bit of froth on top. Interesting.
Here we go. We are about to see our beautiful orange orb of burning fire coming up. I'm staring at the horizon with anticipation. There she is. The first little bit, oh my goodness, it's getting bigger and bigger very quickly. Yo, the sun really moves at a decent pace. Oh, sun doesn't move. We are moving at a decent pace.
It's going to swap ND filters.
Morgan's just going to swap ND filters so you can play with the lights just to make it that extra better. Oh my goodness, here we go. Now our lovely orange froth, milk froth, cappuccino froth is going to maybe change a little bit of color. might have a little bit of an orange reflection that it's going to start burning off as soon as it gets to a decent height in the sky. Once the sun gets to a decent height in the sky, the mist won't go up. Well, it will evaporate. Almost the full sun out now, almost, more than half of it, and already starting to enjoy the lovely color. Very, very exciting. Very exciting indeed, and now it's starting to sort of hit those clouds, and that's fine. It actually looks quite cool with the cloud cover there. Well, not cover, little strips of cloud. Nothing too serious, really. Nothing that's going to, I think, obscure it too much. Sure. Here she comes. That's pretty much now all of it, I'm sure. Maybe just a tiny bit that's still under the horizon, but look at the glow that it's giving to that little bit of mist. Wow. While we sit here watching this, I'm going to send you to watch a video based on a makala.
On the edge of the Great Karoo, where the semi-desert gives way to the sea-scented Albany thicket, is a feast for the senses. An inspirational conservation story of courage, politics, patience, and success. This land was once grazing for sheep and cattle and plowed for pineapple and chicory. Now it is a burgeoning biodiversity hotspot where indigenous species once again roam the hills and thrive in the soil.
Wow. Breakfast has been served.
Stamping authority.
I tell you what, we've caught up with the three amigos and it's about to go down. Look at them moving in slow motion. They are totally focused.
Amakala is a natural wonder. Where once they were bleating herds, the wild predators have returned. Where cattle tore up the grasses, indigenous ungulates now thrive. Where the thickets expanded unhindered, elephants have returned to redesign the landscape.
Seems everybody's coming to say hello here now.
Good afternoon, good afternoon. How does it? Are you well?
Lesser known gems of this land, brown hyena, and even rare aardwolf. Amakala is a tribute to rejuvenating powers of wilderness and a testament to human endeavor.
Isn't it incredible how we can turn places back to what they once were and get all of that biodiversity to thrive once again? So there's a lot of places that are starting to change back to a more wild system. And for a few reasons. One, obviously, there's a lot of people that are pushing to try and preserve wild spaces and to make sure that we do have space for animals to live peacefully. Because as we know, people and humans don't always do very well side by side. But the other side of things, sorry, I've just been called on the radio. Go ahead.
Maybe check on your side from the whole Drakensberg Road area southwards. There's a lot of mostly on the cut line going up and down. There's a little Glove and there's a Glove this area. In and out of the Juma and Tortured side. Looks like they were trying to shy and Yari. So I'm gonna quickly go onto Tortured and see there.
Okay, copy. Yeah, I've got their tracks here on Drakensberg. Going up and down as well. I'll just have a little scratch here quickly. So, just talking about lion tracks, but they're here coming up the road. I think these guys might be on Torchwood already. Okay, copy. Pete, these are coming north, and then they cut into the block here towards the cut line. So, I think Torchwood is probably a good bet. So, it looked like they were chasing buffalo around here. The buffalo came from this side yesterday. Sorry, I've been derailed my whole thought process now. But it looks like they've cut into the block here. I just want to quickly check. They often lie up. There's a little open area here that they like to lie up on sometimes, but I did see an impala, so I don't think they're here, but let's just make 100% sure. There's Cedric. No lions lying here that I can see. So you can see where the buffalo actually were on the road here. You can see the tracks, but this was already here yesterday afternoon, these tracks for these buffalo. Just want to double check exactly where these lions go in, because I didn't find their tracks further up. They cut off here somewhere. I want to just make sure it's towards the boundary. It looks like it is, but I just want to double check. Lydia, this will be the Kambula boys and the lioness. That's here. This is not... It's the same tracks that I think Cedric has been following up on. So if we do find them and Ced wants to come and see them, he's more than welcome. Obviously, don't want to take away his... So you see the tracks are not here. Just want to jump off quickly, Panna. You might just have to show a bit of the bush for a little bit, because I think the track is behind the car now, which is not great. I just want to make sure which way they go. Still see some tracks on the left side. Just make sure that they're not lying in this long grass right next to me here. But no, they've cut off here. Trying to see, because there's some tracks still on the road here, but obviously I've driven over some of them now. Okay, so they're still going, but it's not all of them now. There's just some of them that are on the road here. Alright, let's try and see if we just go up a little bit further, because there's definitely at least one on the road still. And I don't see any actually going into this block on my right-hand side. If anything, they've gone left. Now I've got to be careful of not driving on these again. It's a problem. I wasn't paying attention as much. I thought the tracks were much further that way. Erica, many times. That's how we find them sometimes. So yeah, lots of times. Lots of leopard, lots of lions, dogs, cheetah, hyenas. But yeah, I mean, I don't even know how many times, but a lot is the answer to that. So you see they're not here. There's still one lion walking on the road here. Okay, still tracks for one. So when you're tracking like this, like ideally I would have spotted those tracks earlier, is then you try and position the car like this so that the wheels are on the middle and on the edge, and that way you're not driving on top of the tracks like I did earlier. So it's my fault because I wasn't paying attention, but we'll try and see where these can go. In the meantime, let's send you across to Cedric and see where he is and what he's up to.
Exactly, I agree, Tristan. That's the way we do it, eh? That's the way we track. I'm coming back onto this area. I know that he says he's got tracks that side. I've got tracks coming down this side. So there's tracks everywhere. So I'm going to just do a little bit of this open clearing. Just want to do the outskirts, and then I'm going to head to the north western corner towards Baobab Dam area and just double check. Got some nice little crested franklins that's running around here in the grass. Always nice to watch these birds. Looking around just to see if they can get some of the seeds that's fallen off. And we've got a beautiful little flower there as well called the red star zinnia. There's something strange there. Strange noise we just heard now, yeah, just to the west of quarantine. As I said, I'm going to do a little bit of a loop around here just to double check on where these tracks have gone for these lions. It's always nice just to sit here with a family of franklins. And beautiful patterns, I love it. Agatha Krusty, yeah, it's a stunning morning. Very beautiful. The sun is up now, so starting to heat up a little bit for us this morning. Yeah, no, it is a beautiful, beautiful Sunday. Sunny Sunday. I also just love that little white stripe just above the eye. A horizontal stripe that runs along. Still nibbling on all the little seeds. Oh, catch up to the rest. Alright, so let them go off. I think we're going to continue just doing a little bit of a search around this open clearing as well as head to the northwestern corner. And we're going to see what's happening at Baobab Dam. I've been very lucky sometimes with wild dogs coming down from that area. So I thought maybe let's give it a go. We might get lucky. And the buffalo tracks went straight south, all of the buffaloes. South into Hoffman's, so all the tracks, entire herd, into another property. Magnus, yes, last time we saw dogs, wild dogs, was last week Monday. It was last week Monday. We got to see those 3 dogs, the 2 males and the female. So yeah, last week Monday. So yeah, we are definitely due for some wild dogs coming through. It would be fantastic. But it's also getting to that time of the year where they're starting to den. So May, June. And I start looking for den sites and all that. So I can imagine having a wild dog den site here on Djuma. That would be fantastic. That would be perfect. Has there ever been a wild dogs denning on here at Djuma? I don't think I'm Paul. Do you know, Nadine? Yeah. Maybe they'll, Nadine South, I agree, maybe back in the day. I can't remember, since I've been here in the north, I can't remember actually wild dogs denning on Djuma, so. But that would be nice.
Explore the untamed valleys and thickets with Ralph Kirsten.
Beautiful.
Or venture into the wild with Eric Barnard.
I will take you to my favorite places, show you my favorite animals, share the best stories, and you'll definitely be able to watch the stars.
There are only 6 places available on each safari. For more information and to secure your seat, contact Wild Earth Travel.
I do hope they come out on the other side, but they most likely will. So they obviously came from this side, so I'm hoping maybe we can find some tracks and we can maybe identify just how many members of the pride there are there. That will definitely give us a good indicator. But I have not yet seen any tracks. I'm looking, but I've not seen yet. This is, from what I understand, somewhere around here is where they were first discovered. So they may have slept the night on the edge of this ridgeline looking down, or they may have climbed up sometime last night, or even sometime yesterday. Okay. This could be a good place to turn around. I don't think if we go any further up this road, it's going to help us in the search for these felines. So I'll do a quick 100-point turn here. Oh, there's a warthog down there. Oh, be careful, warthog. Oh, I think I see one over there. And yes, there is only one pride on Amakhala. And it's a pride of seven lions, where there's 2 males and the rest are all females. The one male is the big boy, we call him Guapo, and then the others are the females. There's 4 subadult females and then 2 other older females. One really, really big one, and then one sort of smallish female. And she'll be the mother of the cubs. Those cubs are about a year and a bit old. They'll be 2 years old in September. Is it September? Yes. September. No movement. Can't see anything, not hearing any alarm calls or anything that would suggest that they are on the move and that animals need to watch out. There's always something around here in terms of prey items, whether it be a warthog. The kudus also love this valley quite a lot. And that's an animal that tends to get very vocal when there are predators around. It's very, very difficult to avoid those eyes. Itzy, thank you. We need it. We need it. We haven't seen the lions very much as of recent. And the last shift we saw them, but we only saw them on the last day. And then in the shift before them, we actually had quite a few sightings of them. And it was quite nice. But we spent a decent amount of time with those 3 little subadult females. They are getting big. Not getting big, they are big. We're going to sit here a little bit longer, try and see if we cannot relocate these felines. In the meantime, we send you over to Tristan, who's on the move.
Right, so our lions, I think, have crossed into Torture with the tracks, cut in east. Then I went round onto the cut line and they come out exactly where Peter found those tracks going up and down. I think they've gone inside of Torture. I just want to make 100% sure, but it certainly looks that way. They've crossed that way. It's just weird because they're following the trail of the buffalo the wrong way. So those buffalo came from right to left across, and they're going from left to right. But they're walking on the footprints of the buffalo where the buffalo went through the blocks. I don't know if they're just trying to pick up any stragglers maybe that were left behind, or any bulls that potentially just kind of lay up somewhere and didn't actually follow the herd. I don't know if that's what they're doing, but they certainly aren't walking the right direction, that's for sure. If they are trying to find buffalo. But the problem is the buffalo are heading towards where the Plains Camp boys chased them from, so maybe that's why, is they're just trying to put distance between them, themselves and those boys. Like I said, this buffalo dung and tracks and everything was here yesterday already, so it's not fresh dung and tracks. It's not like there's buffalo here again this morning. I don't actually see where these lions came from. I don't see their tracks there. I wonder if they didn't come up Drakensberg the whole way. It's possible. But it's just going to check a little bit further south in case, because there is definitely an up and down movement. All right, while we have a look around, let's send you to Cedric. I believe he's got himself a warthog.
All right, well, we've got 2 warthogs here, just south of Baobab Dam, and you can see 2 males. And you can see with the males, you've got that typical two sets of warts on them, one just below the eyes and the one between the nostrils and the eyes. So 2 males, beautiful. There's one on the left, is absolutely a stunning boy. Lovely male that. Just keeping an eye on us. The younger male's coming to join him here. Well, don't run. They tend to always run, but it's nice just to have warthogs for a few minutes before they do run. Always trying to stop a little bit of a distance away from them. Even the little oxpecker's having a good old ride there, bouncing up and down. I've still got the one male there. Can you see it there, Paul? It's still almost to go forward. He's going behind now. Yeah, he's going behind. Let's go a little bit forward. Let's see what they do. He's probably going to run. Don't run. Don't run. And 3, 2, 1. Ah, he's not running. He is behaving himself. Rachel, yeah, no, look, you're going to be skittish if you're so delicious, as well as if you're this small and there's so many predators around here that feeds on you. Lions, leopards, wild dogs, hyenas. Yeah, you don't want to hang around to find out. So it's even for like your duikers and your steenbok. Same thing with those two antelope. That's a very small antelope, but you know, they tend to never hang back. As soon as you stop, they run. It's nice just to see this one being a little bit more inquisitive for us this morning. Not the biggest of tusks on him, but he's got a nice set of warts just below his eyes. Tell me more. Yes, it's amazing, as we're all saying now, warthogs, and they're not running. Well, I mustn't talk too soon, eh? The little tail's up and off it goes. It wants to go. He wants to catch up to his friend. I always love it when they do run like that. They lift those tails up. It's like a follow me sign. So because they're so short, you know, they're running through grass and that, just to let the other ones know where they are. They lift their tails up like a little sign. Come, follow me. And off it goes. All right, well, that was nice. Nice to have a few warthogs on screen this morning. I never really get that too often.
We have an exciting announcement. Wild Earth is launching a YouTube membership program. For a nominal monthly fee, members get an ad-free channel, prioritized questions, early access to videos, and many more perks. You'll get fun features like badges and emojis that'll make you stand out in the chat. YouTube memberships will help us to continue with our mission of connecting people with nature while giving you access to lots of our amazing content.
see, wow, we thank you. A little bit of luck is all we needed. A little bit of patience. That's Guapo. How cool is that?
Is he behind us?
Yeah, he is.
Right, that's Tyrone behind the bushes.
Or did they see something? So I'm not too sure if you were able to hear that, but Guapo is calling behind us. He's down in the basin somewhere. But at the same time here, it looks like there's been some bit of excitement. Maybe an animal's been spotted. They're definitely having a good look at something there. Like I said, there's all sorts of prey species that could potentially be in this area. There's also an impala I can see in the very far distance, but that's definitely out of reach for now. Oh, they're going down into that dip. No, don't lie.
Young male.
Say again. Here's a young male now, and one of his little siblings. Yo, these subadults are huge. Agatha Krusty, that was lovely. Even though we didn't see him, it was quite nice to know where exactly he is. It's possible he's going to follow. It didn't sound very far away. Didn't sound far away at all. So it is possible they may follow them a little bit later. They've been known to do it. Especially him. All it has to take is for them to kill something. Doesn't matter what it is, he'll be here in a minute. Oh, Lara Moore, they are. They are indeed. It's just a matter of who they're going to mate with. Obviously, Dad cannot mate with them, and obviously the young male cannot mate with his siblings. Not that it would be a problem for the babies. It's possible to happen, but it's just something that we don't want to happen. We don't want the lions to be inbred. But we have seen Guapo mating with that older female, that one who was in the front there, the big lady. And obviously 4 months it takes for lion cubs to develop in the womb. So we never know. We may be getting some little youngsters soon. I'm not too sure. But yeah, that'll be the big female. It's my understanding she has not had cubs yet. Doodlebug, it is our pleasure. Our absolute pleasure to do this. And I have a visit by the mist. Just having a quick look around just to make sure we're not being no one's sneaking up on us. But I can see that the mist is slowly starting to creep up on us. I hope it's not going to obscure our vision. It'd be very inconsiderate of the mist. It's possible they may have found something down there, and they're just waiting for it to get into the right position before they advance. Lions can be very patient hunters. Very, very patient hunters. Sometimes, not always. Not always. Nikki, we're trying our best. We are trying our best. I think, yeah, whatever it is, it's definitely, I have money on it. It's a female kudu or something like that down there. And they're basically just waiting for it to... Getting closer. He's definitely on the move. He's definitely on the move. And the sound is, I don't want to say it's getting closer. I still feel like he may be at the bottom of the valley, but it sounds like he's walking along a little road that we call River Road, to sort of basically under our location. That's what it sounds like. Unless he's at the bottom, just on the other side of this ridge line, in which case he will be sneaking up behind us. Michelle, this is exciting. You know, the anticipation is there. All sorts can happen. I think they'd have to wait for this animal to get into the right position, you know, so that they could also sneak down into the valley, make sure that they can get behind it or in front of it or wherever they want to be. But having said that, they're also going to make sure that there's nothing else in that little valley that can jeopardize this hunt. So nothing like guinea fowl, impala, waterbuck, you know, other animals in the area that could potentially spot them out, that will sound the alarm. It'll be very disappointing for them. Haven't even started the hunt before the hunt is over. They can also sit like this for quite some time, you know, they feel very content to do so.
This is On Safari.
Well, hopefully he does, Eric, and you have a little bit more luck than what we're having at the moment. It's nothing that we can find for anyone really. Everything's just going off property rather than coming on, which is I suppose the way it goes. But yeah, I think these lines are in Torchwood. It tracks up and down and then cut eastwards, heading towards that side. I'm sure the guys will eventually pick them up. They, like I say, we're fairly busy in this area, and so I'm almost certain that they're going to have eventually gone in. But yeah, I'm sure we will. I'm not too worried about it at this stage. I'm almost certain we'll pick up something. I'm going to head back along this northern boundary. It sounds like Mariep's is still on Buffel's Hook, but coming south slowly. But I don't quite know exactly where. I just know that the road that he's on is quite long, and so if he's on the top side of that road, then it will only be maybe later this afternoon or tomorrow morning. If it's bottom side of the road, then he could be on this morning already back our way. That's obviously if nothing distracts him, and we know how he can be easily distracted by his tummy. So let's see, maybe we'll get lucky with him, but I'm sure, like I say, a leopard will pop up somewhere. There's no sign of Tlalamba anywhere here. It seems as though she's still firmly entrenched in Torchwood. I hope that means that she's on a meal somewhere, because the guys were saying that she looked like she could do with a meal, and just staying close to the cubs and looking after them. Ultimately, as much as it's nice to see her, as long as she's looking after her cubs and they're growing and safe, then that's good. And then yeah, a cat will come. Like I say, can't go forever without seeing one, and even if we don't see one this stint, it's the way it goes. I suppose, you know, I have a bit of a different outlook on these things these days, because I spend so much time in the bush and kind of know that there's always going to be another opportunity at some point, so I'm not too stressed. Rosemary, yes, Nsumi would be a vision right now, but chance of her is pretty slim. Where she was yesterday is on Rhino Cutline, and then she was close to Second Rock, which is deep in Torchwood. So it's about as central to Torchwood as you could get. So the chance of her, and she was full. So the chance of her actually appearing on our side would be pretty slim, I'd say. Maybe Chitwa, but even then that would be not easy. So let's just check these tracks. Hyena came down here, as well as just hyenas, honey badgers. That's about it. Thought maybe there was a leopard track in amongst all of this. Sometimes when you're driving, porcupine and honey badgers can sometimes resemble a leopard track from a driving perspective, but once you see them, it's not that difficult. They obviously have 5 toes, so that gives them away, as opposed to the 4 toes of a leopard. But when you just see the track change, because normally when we're driving, what you're looking for is not necessarily just a footprint. You're just looking for a pattern change within the tire tread, and that then gives away footprints. So sometimes these other animals can look a little bit like a female leopard. And Tlalamba does come this far. She does come up this side as well. So Hannah, no spotted hyenas in India. They do have striped hyena in India. So I didn't see any on this last trip. We did look for them a little bit, but yeah, you get them quite widely spread across India, especially right in the drier areas, just like Rajasthan. See them in those areas. So Ranthambore gets them. Jawai. See them there. So yeah, but no spotties, I'm afraid. Probably just as well. Can you imagine big clans of spotted hyenas trying to fight with tigers and stuff? It would be absolute chaos. The tigers and the sloth bears already have standoffs regularly, so it's probably better to throw spotted hyenas into the mixer as well. The sloth bears are very cool. They're one of my favorite animals in India. So, saying hello to the anti-poachings. Important people doing a very good job of things. But yeah, it's like I say, India's diverse, but unfortunately it doesn't have a lot of those kind of animals. Kathy, I mean, that would have been a good morning for dwarf mongoose, and maybe still is. It was cold this morning, so often you find them just sitting on a mound trying to sun themselves when they're cold. But I haven't seen any, if I'm honest with you. I suppose we were a bit early for the little group that's on Weirtail Access close to Sandy Patch. There's a dwarf mongoose colony there that often sits on their little mound. But nothing so far. A lot of the mounds are also quite overgrown, so you've got to try to find mounds that are a little bit more exposed. So like something like that would be a good dwarf mongoose sunspot. So they like those little open mounds that are a little bit less vegetation where they can see what's going on. Now, I do apologize when we're driving if there's a bit of wind noise. Sometimes the mics do pick it up, so apologies if you are hearing. We've turned our back to what little breeze there is now, so we should hopefully be a little bit better off. Actually, you can see tracks for dwarf mongoose here on the road next to me, so they were around here, but nothing on that mound at the moment. I don't even see any signs of droppings. Often if you find a mound where the mongoose like to sit and sun themselves in the morning, you can see lots of little droppings on the side of the mound. Alright, while we freewheel and coast our way down the slope here, let's send you across to Cedric and see what he's up to. It sounds like he's got some hippos that are being fairly active.
Thank you, Tristan. I'm hoping to pick mongoose as ek daai to I do apologize. So we had a bit of a freeze in a picture there, but yep, we are still here at Buffelshoek Dam, and I was just chatting about these hippos now. So I've got looks like a mating couple here, which is very nice. A male and a female this side. A little bit of activity happening. A bit of a honeymoon here in the dam. But yeah, they usually copulate here inside the water. As I said, it just helps them just to kind of support their weight, especially the male. Helps them a lot. And then exactly where they are now it's a very shallow area. So many times you'll find they'll hang around at that spot, so they don't have to go too deep. And this copulation will go on for the entire day, for quite some time. It's a long process, and that's if she does accept him. You can actually see the ripples in the water, on the surface there, and actually moving. I think it's more of a courtship than too much mating. I think it's more of courtship that is happening, and that's throughout the day. So it'll be on and off, on and off. It'll be on and off. I'm not too sure if it's a Dewey. Did we see a hippo there at the treehouse? Thanks, Nadine. So yeah, so there was Dewey was around there at the treehouse at Dam this morning. Nadine was paying attention, and for myself missed that one clearly. So she's Fugass of 5,000 at the moment, level 5,000. Sorry, Jared, go with your question there, or comms. I missed you completely there. Always looks like a youngster. That. Oh, it's a crocodile. Oh, poor croc.
Something
on safari, yeah.
Very funny.
Of course, it's in my nature.
Yeah, it's in Nadine's nature. That's yeah, that's exactly. So that's what comms broke up badly there. Yeah. We were just trying to guess exactly what Jared was saying. But yeah, did you see that crocodile just coming straight past these hippos now? So it's quite interesting. Let's see where this crocodile is going to end up. Oh, Godzilla 2.0. And it is a big croc. This crocodile that's hanging around here at Buffelshoek, at least a good 3 to 3.5 meter croc. It's also interesting, this male and female hippo. A lot of activity from them this morning. So just going to sit here for a little bit longer and enjoy this sighting.
Explore the untamed valleys and thickets with Ralph Kirsten.
Beautiful.
Or venture into the wild with Eric Barnard.
I will take you to my favorite places, show you my favorite animals, share the best stories, and you'll definitely be able to watch the stars.
There are only 6 places available on each safari. For more information and to secure your seat, contact Wild Earth Travel.
is coming to investigate us. Anymore, they do sound like a wind-up cat toy when they're like that. I just want to see what it does, because it's now come right up towards us again. It's crazy. I've never seen a squirrel come this close. It's now eating elephant dung. I don't know if you'll be able to... Well, pottering through some elephant dung. I don't know if you'll be able to get it there. It's making Panda's life very difficult. It's just here, right next to the car. There we go. So that's as close as Panda can film. Honestly, this is the strangest thing. I've never seen a squirrel do a walk by like this. And now, literally just walks past the car like a cat would do. Bizarre. Never, ever, ever have I had a squirrel do that. And I've done a fair few game drives, but it literally just walked right past the tyre as though it was a lion or a leopard walking down the road. Strange. Anyway, maybe it's just a crazy squirrel. Alright, let's carry on. Let's go and see what else is lurking. It seems to have all be quiet now. That was very odd. No idea why that squirrel decided to come right up past us. Shreyas, that's good news that Tortoise Pan is on Little Gowrie. Hopefully he does pop into Djuma. His general direction from there should be Djuma side, but sometimes they do funny things and they turn. It'd be interesting to know whereabouts on Little Gowrie. Maybe he's just on the cut line there, because it's quite strange for him. He doesn't typically go too far into that area. He normally gets to the cut line with Hofmann's and then turns from there and comes north or goes south or back west, depending on which direction he was traveling. But yeah, on Little Gowrie, that's... Alright, let's send you across to Eric, see how he's going.
So we've left the female lions up at the top to their devices. We've come down here to look for Guapu. Making a lot of noise down here. He's tormenting me. And I'm pretty sure I see him over there. That does look like him. If not, it's probably a termite mound. It's very misty down here as well. It wasn't as misty at the top there. Oh my goodness. So there is the big man, Guapo. Oh, wow. I'm pretty sure this is his little trail. We were following his footprints along the road, and there's a little kind of like trail that's gone where I can see that there's no more dew. That obviously means that he was walking there. And he's just lying down, feeling, I don't know what he's feeling. Yes, he does look like he's sitting there pretending to be a termite mound. He's exactly where I thought he would be. I thought he'd be a little bit closer to the river line. But in terms of where we were on the ridge line, he's really not far. Almost in line from where we were. It's going to be a little bit difficult to try and show you because obviously it's very, very misty down here. But, we have found him after how long? And he's sitting so far away. I'm sure he'll move. He can't stay there forever. I'm sure he's going to want to try and find his family. Or his family. That's why he was calling. In the hopes that somebody may respond. It's Tell me more. I wish I could call him over, but I don't have a door here, and I don't want him to try and get on my lap either. Calling him over, maybe all fun and games until he gets too close. But I wish I had that lion charm where I could just come lay over here on the grass next to us. It's nice and fluffy here. I wish. He seems very content. Very content. A jackal has been seen. I'm hoping maybe the jackal goes and mobs him and chases him. Not chases him, but like gets him to do something. Now, as you know, Mondays and Tuesdays are generally non-live days. However, on Tuesday, the 7th of May, we will be going live with our YouTube members and YouTube explorers only. Make sure to not miss out on this special Tuesday sunrise and sunset safaris. Become a member on YouTube or an explorer if you have not yet, to avoid missing out on the fun. This is Tuesday, the 7th of May. So not tomorrow, the day after that, we'll be going live all day. Now, he's very, very happy there. And he does this is his kind of behavior. Like, you always think he should be with the pride and following them around, but sometimes he can be very lazy and just want to rather relax here and kind of do nothing. But then you can see when he's hungry, and you know that he's following the herd, following the pride, because they're going to maybe kill something. So 50, he is huge. He's massive. He's massive. He's definitely one of the biggest lions I've ever have had the privilege of guiding with. But, sure. I wish this mist would just burn off just a little bit, please. Just so we can see more of them. The mist is obscuring our sight. I thought so too. Oh, he's licking. Okay, that's good. That's good. He's licking his paws. Yeah, definitely licking a paw of something. Yes, he's licking his legs. Obviously, they get filled with dew. Looking through my binoculars, I can see through. His mane looks very wet. Catherine, the reason why they don't bring more prides onto Amakala is there's a bit of competition. You know, obviously the competition for the size of the reserve is just far too much. There'll be too many predators, and then eventually it'll get to the point where there's just predators and there's no prey, and the predator's going to have to start predating on each other, not itself. Also, the size of the reserve. I mean, we are only 8,500 hectares for now, so it's a bit difficult. Generally, they say 1,000 hectares per lion, so that means we can have 8 lions if we are 8,500 hectares. So we're pretty much almost at our quota. That's what they sort of want. They want reserves to have, just so that a lion has enough space for itself. I'm sure that an additional 3 or 4 lions to the pride shouldn't do too much damage to the land, but anything after that is going to start getting out of hand. You must remember we still also have the 3 amigos. The 3 amigos are still here. As well as all, well, they've got all the scavengers for them. He's looking around. Looking curious. Maybe you should get up. There we go. He's just given off a contact call. Oh, life on safari, he's gorgeous. He's a handsome man. This could be the beginning of something here. Indeed it is. Sure. Something different hearing that, especially when you're much closer to him. It has a different meaning. It is not a sound that you want to walk past a bush and hear right in front of you, even if the lion hasn't seen you. Ooh, the nerves. You lazy boy. You can't call everybody 3 times and then not go looking for them. You must go looking for them.
maybe he's just taking a break. I can get my binocs out here quickly. Just want to see his behavior. Yeah, I think he's more taking a break. You can see the ears aren't really pointed forward at all. And his ears are working all over the show, so he's not really focused on one thing. And off he goes. Yep, straight to the Tamboti tree. Tim, no, I've seen lions chasing giraffe. I've seen that a few times. There was a pride known as the Chalala pride that used to roam around here in the northern Sabi Sands many years ago. And the Chalala pride really kind of specialized in bringing down giraffe. So they would always try and chase him into drainage lines as well into like rocky areas. They'll try and force the giraffe to topple over. See, once the giraffe topples over, then it's overs cadovers then. So yeah, but I haven't seen it firsthand. I've heard about it, and I've heard about that pride, and I've seen them on a kill. I've seen them on a giraffe kill, and I've seen them as well chasing a giraffe, but I've never seen the takedown. Listen, a giraffe, I mean, they've got fantastic defense, so kicking forward and kicking backwards. And you can imagine with those long legs and those hooves, if it hits a lion on the head and a proper kick, it will really be quite fatal to those cats. There's flies everywhere. You can see stretching up, using that long tongue, trying to strip all the leaves off. And now those leaves for us is very toxic. The latex, there's that white latex inside of the Tamboti leaves, and that is very toxic to us. So if we have to digest that, you'll have to be rushed to hospital to try and neutralize that poison. And they say actually giraffe, they say that the male can actually lift its head up and eat that way, where a female she does not eat with her head pointing upwards. But that is wrong. That is false. I've seen females feeding exactly like a male, with their heads pointing upwards, or the males. So yeah, that is. Sometimes that's a book that said that, and yeah, and then I saw something completely different. All right, looks like it's going. Right, Paul, are you ready? Let's head over. We are going to stop at Twin Dams, and I think we've got somebody else that needs to jump into the seat here. We never know. Never know. Alright, let's head straight down Gary, Main, on the southern boundary of Djuma. We're actually on the southeastern corner. No, sorry, I was wanting to. Well, there's Jared. Alright, well, we slightly head towards Twin Dams. I think let's head over to Eric, as sounds like they've got quite a bit of a mist down there in the Eastern Cape.
Unfortunately, we're leaving Guapo here, the mist has just become far too thick to actually be able to see him. Now we're basically just looking at a figure. Look, it could be a bush for all you know. But at least we were able to see him, and he did some coloring for us, which was quite nice. We've heard him 3 times this morning, which is also even better. You know, sometimes you hear these male lions coloring, but you don't always get to see them. It's not always a guarantee. So very happy to have been able to find him and have him color for us. So we basically have seen all of our lions except for mom of the cubs, but we saw her when we were actually leaving that site. Martin, indeed, yes, that was our version of gorillas in the mist. It was lions in the mist, or one lion in the mist and the others in a little bit of a mist. Morgan's just going to wipe the lanes there quickly. I see this road is still is due for a 2-ply rolling here. I'm sure they're going to get to this road at some stage. But it is obviously the weekend, so the maintenance team is not working over the weekend. They are happily enjoying their Sunday morning. What time? Well, it's 8:15, so some of them may be waking up, some of them may have been awake already, some of them could well be sleeping still. We call this blanket farming. Very, very misty in here. Now, obviously, I'm expecting to find some animals, but I can't really expect to find animals if the male lion is just there after he's called like a good couple of times. If an animal's still in this area, they are either deaf or just very brave. I think very brave. I don't think there's deaf animals here. Definitely not. Not as many wildflowers down in the basin as I had thought they would be. No, I definitely thought there would be a little bit more. At the moment, it's just the cattails that I was talking about yesterday. And the sorrel. The wood sorrel. Other than that, there's nothing else here. Is this the road? No, this is not the road I want to take. We'll drive a little bit further. It's a little bit different trying to navigate in the mist. No majority, but Alka, to combat inbreeding with lions, they remove the lions before they have a chance to inbreed. So at the moment we're sitting pretty lucky with those 2 females. And then obviously the subadults are the offspring of the male. The male will, I wouldn't say he'll stay away from those females, but for now he's more interested in mating with the older female and with the female that, oopsie daisy, and with the female that's already given birth. It's only when the subadults now are adults and they start ovulating, that's when it may start becoming a bit of a problem. So yeah, I wish I knew more on how they would actually combat the whole inbreeding problem. But unfortunately, my knowledge doesn't extend very, very far when it comes to that form of conservation. I'm trying to navigate in the misty areas here where you cannot see, 1, the mountains, which I use all the time to try and situate yourself. And then 2, you can't see where this flat is going. So I know we're going towards the mountain where the elephants love to climb up, but there was a road that looked like another road. That's not. what it is. Like, this is the road that I wanted to be taking, but the one that we passed over there looked exactly like it. And I could have easily taken that road, but that would have taken us in the completely opposite direction. Morgan's gonna wipe the lens once again. It is very wet down here. I'm sure there's some moisture collecting on my eyelashes, my eyebrows, and my moustache.
Discover the wonders of the wild with Safari Snaps, Africam's fun community game. Immerse yourself in the captivating live streams of animals in their natural habitat, and showcase your wildlife expertise by tagging these incredible species with their photos. Simply tag the animal you spot. Each tag earns you points based on the rarity of the species. The rarer, the more points you score. Join us on Safari Snaps and let's celebrate the wonders of African wildlife together.
Learned very quickly that the buffalo thorn is not a tree to be messed with. He was impaled a few times by those little sharp pointy thorns and hooked thorns. Obviously buffalo thorn has the two types of thorns on it. So one pokes you and the other one hooks into you. It's very pleasant, really. So not a nice tree to deal with. No sign of anything here. There's nothing there's no water in those wallows, which I thought would be the case. I just wanted to double check anyway. It's worth making sure. Tavangumi used to like those pans, used to find him there every now and then, just lounging about. Sadly, Mulawati is not the same kind of cat. In terms of him being relaxed. So I'm just listening now. Somebody was asking for an update on Nena. Anna Marie, yep, that's how it goes. Torchwood, Little Gowrie, Arethusa, the three nemesis properties. So it does go that way. But you know, the thing is, it's funny because often I've spent a lot of time in places where they can traverse Torchwood, and sometimes Torchwood's got nothing on it and everything's on Djuma. It's just, the shoe's always on the other foot when it's quiet on your side. You're always like, oh, everything's happening on those other properties. But it goes the other way too. It swings around, and for the size of area we're talking about, I think that's what a lot of people also don't always comprehend when it comes to Djuma is that Djuma and Chitwa, in terms of a traverse, are very, 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 very small. We don't really have a size of property that can incorporate an entire territory of a lion pride, for example, or even a male leopard. And so that's why we do have these times where we've got not much going on. When we do have a lot of sightings, it's normally when there's young cats around, so particularly on the leopard world, if we have a young cat. So like in Sumi at one point, she was here a lot. She was still young and just kind of breaking away from mom. Those times are when you have a plethora of sightings, but for the most part 1,200 hectares of Djuma and then the 400 hectares of Chitwa is really not very much. To give you an example, you heard Eric's in 8,500, so he's basically 8 times bigger in terms of the area that they can explore to be able to find things. So we just have to keep kind of trying and doing the same loops and roads and hope that something pops out. I'm always a firm believer that Djuma always has a leopard on it. I just, sometimes you can't find it. And currently we also have a male that's not the easiest to find. I don't like calling him skittish. I mean, he is shy, I suppose, but we've had some really cool sightings of Mulawati where he's just sat there and we've enjoyed him. Remember when he had that Nyala kill in the drainage line? We spent pretty much a whole afternoon with him. So, you can find him and you can still view him. It's just that he's very difficult to find. We're just so used to these relaxed leopards that walk around and lie in the middle of the road and don't really care to move too much for us. And so when we get one that's not like that, everybody's like, it's difficult and whatever. But really, he's just what a leopard is. And I like that he's a reminder of what leopards can be like. It's good for younger guides to know that not every leopard is going to walk past your car and just sit next to it and sleep. And there are some that are still have that shy, elusive nature that they kind of famed for. So I like having him around. It's just tough sometimes when it's just him that's around because he can be difficult. There's a challenge in it, I guess. You've got to try and still look for him, and he has to eat, he has to mate, he has to drink, he has to walk, so you can catch him. Just got to have a bit of luck on your side too. I always think of Tingana when I drive this section here. I once had him on this termite mound just in front here. It was such an epic afternoon. He sat here, and I always remember it because he was on this beautiful mound and the sun obviously was on the other side. So we had to park this side, which is where a marula tree is, and it just so happened to be at a time when the marula tree was fruiting. And we were being pelted by marulas, and we were trying to figure out ways to park where we wouldn't get marulas hitting us, but at the same time not die from extreme heat, because if you know, marulas are in February, which is when it's hot, so you need some semblance of shade. Plus the grass was in his face, and so we had to try and figure it out. And Jared was just telling me now, it was the first leopard he had on screen or met when he started at Wild Earth. So now a very special cat. It's crazy. I always, when I think about him, to think that we had a male leopard that was territorial in this area for almost 10 years is, in fact it was more than that. We had him, he arrived here end of 2011. So, we had almost 11 years of him as a dominant individual within our area, which is unheard of, really. It's very few male leopards that hold territory for that long. Most of the time they get ousted before that. And if we've kind of looked at what's happened in these areas, you think about it, obviously we've had a few incidents that are not natural, and that's caused a bit of a change in the male territories. But across the Sabi Sands, most of the male leopards are lucky if they get 4 to 5 years as territorial dominant individuals. Some of them will get a little bit more than that, but there's very few that are able to get 10, 11. I don't know of many. Kampan comes to mind. He was a male on Singita, and Mandalozi Kishan was another leopard that also held territory for a very long time. I suppose Ravenscourt now has done pretty well. He's held territory for long, but it's not quite the same innings as what Tingi managed. And it also just goes to show it wasn't always about size, because Anderson was a bigger leopard than Tingana, but his territorial reign was only about 4 years or 5 years, and then he disappeared. So it was a pretty incredible feat for him to hold for as long as he did, especially a prime area. I mean, this section, while we don't have a lot of leopards right now, it is prime because you've got a whole series of drainage lines and you've got permanent water here, as well as clearings. So you've got a really good, healthy population of prey in the form of duiker and impala and warthogs, and then you've got access to water and shelter, and so yeah, I think it's a pretty special place for a leopard, so it's no wonder he tried to hang on to it for as long as he did. All right, let's try and see if we can actually find something, so you don't have to just stare at the back of my head and hear me waffling on randomly. And let's send you across to apparently now Nadine at a waterhole.
Well, everybody, we have made our way to Twin Dams, and I am not sitting in the naturalist seat anymore because I have been demoted to the back at this point of time. But we've got someone very special that's our naturalist for this morning.
Hi everyone, I am Nadine, the annoying director as per some people, and behind me on camera today we have Princess, aka Muscles Mpo, and then we have Cedric, who sometimes pretends to find animals but 90% of the time he can't, like today. That's why I'm here. And I have some leopard print on because, you know, we can't find them, so we are, we're wearing them. We're here at beautiful Twin Dams, and we are just waiting for any signs of anything. You know, we've been tracking, and Cedric's tracking skills hasn't been all that great. So we're just sitting here, we're waiting, we're listening. Not a lot of bird calls, a little bit of a breeze in the air, but it's not too bad at all. The weather's really nice today, and
Right, Nadine, now your first question coming in from one of the viewers is from Caitlin. What is your favorite animal?
My favorite animal, I love a zebra. That has to be my favorite animal. I think they're quite feisty, and they have really cool prints to them, and it's really nice to see that all of them are different, and it's very cool. Yeah, I like it. A zebra is a great one.
Zebra, interesting, yeah. This is a nice one, yeah. Thank you, Caitlin. Alka wants to know, how do you juggle all the guides so effortlessly?
That's a tricky one, hey? We were talking about it earlier and how like everyone's personalities are quite different, and I think you just have to adapt to the personality and make fun out, well, not obviously make fun of them just as much as they make fun of me for not being able to use my words sometimes. But I think it's just to have fun and just, you know, make the best out of the moments, whether it's a great sighting or if it's just a slow day. Just have the best time. I would say that is how you juggle it.
Yeah, that's now everybody understands what we have to deal with, in our ears sometimes.
Shame. You'll survive. It'll be okay.
Nadine, Gemma wants to know, what is the best thing about working for Wild Earth?
Oh, there's a fly. Oh, and you got that on camera. The best thing at working... Oh, hi Gemma, how are you today? Let me just pretend like I listen to when Cedric talks. The best thing about working at Wild Earth, I would say, is just getting to know all of the people. I mean, it's the first time that me and Princess here behind the camera has met, and it feels like we've known each other for a very long time, and it's just nice to be able to build these relationships with people that you've never really met before. and then it's really cool to then getting the opportunity and obviously like learning all of the animal characters and, you know, just being able to see and experience all of it has been really cool. So I think that would be it, yeah. And it's definitely not meeting Cedric, I would say that.
Yeah, no, now I've been properly demoted here. All right, Nadine, link us over to Eric.
While we sit here at Twin Dams, we're going to go over to the beautiful Amakala. I hope Morgan is wearing 2 shorts today and we can find some hadidas. So let's head over to Eric.
Perfect. Nadine for Nature Guide. Let's go. The new naturalist is in town. We're sitting here, still in the mist, watching. This is a variety package here. We've got some gemsbok, we've got some not eland, we've got gemsbok, red hartebeest, and zebra. I don't know why I said eland. We haven't even seen eland. Anyway, the gemsbok are beautiful in the sunlight. You can only just see the outline of the animal.
Very bright.
Yeah, the sun is very, very bright compared with the mist. It's, I don't know. It's very, very, very bright. You can feel the heat, and some of the mist is actually starting to move a bit, which is quite good. Hopefully, it's starting to get burnt off. It is a lovely, lovely little scene we've got here. The gemsbok walking in the background there. You can see the size difference in bodies and horns. Gemsbok just slightly bigger. And it's good. All of these animals are looking in the direction of a guapo. Lenny, we have about 34 buffalo on property. That number may be incorrect. When I counted, it was a very loose count. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There looks like there's 3 sitting over there, so I'm going to count it as 3. But I did get to the number of 34, so it may be plus minus that number, which is I think it's a healthy size. It's a healthy size herd for this property. These red hartebeest are looking in the direction of where Guapo was. Obviously, they would have heard the noise that he was making. But on a misty day like today, it's very, very difficult to try and tell where this predator is. And the chances are he will see them before they see him. And that is a scary thing. I can't imagine what they must be thinking. I don't know if I would be moving in that direction. I mean, you've just heard the lion calling 3 times from that side. Maybe go in the opposite direction? Roger, this is almost dreamlike. It really is. I mean, I've only experienced this a couple of times. This is not a usual thing that we see here. I think last year I only really had an experience like this once or twice. We were watching the animals. It's either the mist is here and the sun comes up and then you can sort of see a little bit more, or it gets burnt off very, very quickly. The mist never really lingers like this and then creates more light than what there is. This is awesome. These animals are going to be really happy. There's going to be lots of dew on the ground for them. For maybe the first half of the day. They won't need to go to the waterhole because they would have eaten more than enough grass with all the dew and moisture on it. An animal like a gemsbok, that's their bread and butter. They love to do that. It's how they survive sometimes for so long without having to physically go and drink some water. They'll feed early hours of the morning when there's lots of dew on the foliage or on the grass or whatever it is that they're going to be munching on. And they feed on the dew as well as the plant matter. There's a black wildebeest territorial calling over there. Yep. Yep. Stop now.
Explore the untamed valleys and thickets with Ralph Kirsten.
Beautiful.
Or venture into the wild with Eric Barnard.
I will take you to my favorite places, show you my favorite animals, share the best stories, and you will definitely be able to watch the stars.
There are only 6 places available on each safari. For more information and to secure your seat, contact Wild Earth Travel.
I suspect, yeah, they were probably all down at the bottom early this morning, and then the females decided they were going to go on a hunt, so they hiked up the ridge line, and well, they're now very close to Hlosi Lodge, if I'm not mistaken. That's what I heard. They were somewhere close to Hlosi Access. They're on our side of the ridge line, so we look forward to maybe relocating on them this afternoon if it's cool enough. I think it's better for predator in a couple of ways. One, because it's cool. The mist, it's not you don't get hot in the mist. 2, it can mask your not mask your scent. It can, provide you with a bit of cover, so you can stalk your prey a lot easier. I don't really think there are any other benefits for it. The negatives for prey is they can't see they can't see the predators very easily. It's very difficult to see a predator in the mist that doesn't want to be seen. Because firstly, if it doesn't want to be seen, you're not going to see it. And even if there's mist, it makes it even harder to see it. My goodness. It's very far away, but I think a secretary bird has caught its meal. It's quite far behind us. I saw it now when I turned around. Well, we're going to continue on our path, on our quest to find more animals. We're going to send you back up to Tristan to see what Tristan's up to.
Well, we've at least found something. There's 2 Ellie bulls that are just enjoying some torchwood fruits, and so at least something with a heartbeat. It's been, like I say, quite dire this morning. We've struggled. He's talking to Panda about it as we were driving along. It's not so much that we're not seeing, obviously it would be nice to see a few more leopard than we have, but it's not the leopards only that's been the issue. It's been just quiet on a sort of general animal point of view. There have been very few impala herds that I've come across. There's been hardly any duiker, steenbok, those kind of things. I know the grass is quite long, so typically tough to find those, but this felt as though this morning has just been like it's eerily quiet. There's not really much going on, and I suppose that does happen after 4 male lions roll through the property. That does kind of make everything a little bit unsettled. So it might just be because of that. They've ended up going miles away from where we are. They crossed into Torchwood and then they headed straight east, following a single buffalo bull apparently, and went all the way past Rhino Cutline and going towards Serval Road, which is almost eastern Torchwood. So they're a long, long way from Djuma now, the Kambula boys, and just, I'm sure, putting more and more distance between themselves and Plains Camp males, while also chasing after a buffalo. And when we had those 2 buffalo bulls at Gari Dam yesterday, that was the prime target for them. So it's not surprising that they've kind of picked up on that track and they're just following that along. I think it's that buffalo bull that they've separated, and they're just now trying to push and find and then potentially eat. So I'll try and find out later if they actually managed to find those lions in the end. Anyway, as I was saying, our Ellies at this time of the year, pretty much you find a tortured tree and you're going to find an elephant, whether it's a herd or a bull. It's kind of neither here nor there. They're pretty much all under these trees at the moment. You've got 2 tortuards in a row here, so it's quite nice for them. They've got one that provides a huge amount of shade. I'm trying to see if it's got any fruit on it. It doesn't look like it. And then you've got one that's fruiting, so it's a nice shady spot to be able to get some morning food. Nathan, yes, young male elephants do seek out other elephants. Remember that when a young elephant is pushed out of its herd, its whole life up until that point has been social. So it's been, sitting with other animals, moving with other animals, interacting with them. And then all of a sudden they cast out on their own. It must be a massive shock to their system. And so they do try and latch on to other bulls. So it's very common to find male elephants in small groups together. There's often a bigger bull in amongst them and then younger ones, and those younger bulls are often what's known as askaris, which is a Swahili word for essentially security or security is kind of the right word for it, but it's basically these bulls that just sort of hang around, and they got that name because it almost looks like they're always escorting the big bull. Young bulls do. You can see here you've got a big bull on the left and then this younger bull that's on the right. There's quite a big size difference between them. The one on the left is slightly taller and a little bit heavier set, and then tusk-wise, much bigger tusks on that boy on the left. So it's quite common to see these younger ones hanging around with older ones, and then you even find sometimes the young bulls will form little groups together. And they'll kind of move around even without a big old bull amongst them. And that just allows a bit of protection, especially when they are sort of 15, 16, 17 years old. And even though they're big at that size, if they're on their own, there is a potential for lions to try and hunt them. So better off forming nice little groups together where they can then stay protected and learn the ropes of being a male elephant. And if you can find a big bull that's tolerant enough, latching onto them will help with learning where to go and what to do to be able to survive as a big elephant.
This morning we did have some lions. Cedric's probably going to follow that one.
Wait for the second one to come past and push his way through the thickets. I was actually saying to Panda, I was like, I'm surprised you haven't had any ellies this morning. So luckily they've at least been good to us. It's the one animal that has been quite prolific the last few days is elephant. They have certainly made their presence known. Unfortunately, that one I think is going to the toilet. Yep, sadly. It is busy dropping balls of dung as it goes. Jasmine, you say ellies to end the day, that you're happy. I agree. And it's always good to see an elephant. I love ellies, so I'm certainly not unhappy about our morning. It's been a beautiful morning regardless. We've seen nice things and it's been pretty. A little chilly to start, but it was pretty with the mist at Buffelshoek Dam, so I've had a nice day. And I mean, look at that. We've got bright, beautiful blue sky, not a cloud in it. And you're in the African wilderness and anything can happen at any time. So why not just enjoy and take it all in? I think that's the moral of the story, is not to get too stressed about not seeing too much.
Wow. Amazing. It's now clear skies, or somewhat clear skies. I don't see, well, where we are now, there's no mist. No mist whatsoever. It's all disappeared. Gone. Just like that. got an elevated spot. We could see that there was still mist there. This is probably going to want to find. It's going to be very warm for him, especially being a big with all of that mane, all that fur, all that fluff. It's supposed to keep you warm at night time. It's going to keep.
Well, sorry about that, guys. Sometimes being out in the wilderness means that there is a little bit of a bump in the road when it comes to signal, and especially when it's misty and thick like that, it can happen. So apologies. Back with us now. We're just slowly cruising along, just trying to see if anything else is around. We're on the western side of Djuma, so let's see. You never know. Maybe something fun pops out. Hukumuri's termite mound. He used to like sitting on top of there a lot. Used to often find his tracks going, and then he'd sit on top and then come back down again. It's a firm favourite of his. TP also walks this road a lot. He likes to bumble along down here. It's so interesting how Shadulu has basically replicated Shadow's territory, and Tortoise Pan has replicated Hukumuri's territory to the T. And they walk the exact same paths. It's uncanny. I suppose that probably started because when one took over from the other, they marked over the top of where the other one had marked, and so that just created the same routes. I guess that's probably why it happens that way. But it's pretty interesting to see that they have these sort of same characteristics, even though they're completely different animals. Little rattlings and sticklers that are shouting at us as we go. It's also been quite quiet on the bird front today. We haven't had too many birds. I see there's a wind creeping up. That's maybe why. Stacey, it has been a beautiful morning all around. It sounds like Amakala's been very dramatic this morning, with lions roaring in the mist and silhouettes. It sounds like it's been beautiful down there. And then at Djuma we had like I say, beautiful sunrise, and it's just been a nice morning. It hasn't been too chaotic. It's been calm, chilled Sunday. I suppose what is in order. Most people like to take it easy on a Sunday. We've done just that. I've thoroughly actually enjoyed my bumble this morning. I haven't found much, but it was nice to drive around, look for animals. Worse things that one could be doing on a Sunday than this. Anyway, on that note, it's been an absolute pleasure having you all aboard this morning. Hopefully you have enjoyed it, and hopefully we shall see you this afternoon for our On Safari highlights, and then Sunset Safari as well. From all of us, goodbye, and we'll see you later.